use Google Forms to be used for teacher walkthroughs as I observe their classrooms on my iPad. And this is the end document that hopefully by the time we're done we can have something that looks somewhat like this. As you see, I've done about 41 responses or 41 observations in about a 2 to 3 month period. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to go there, check this stuff out. I'm going to go to Form, and I'm going to go to Live Form just to take a look at what this form actually looks like on my iPad. I can go to Teacher Name, and I have all my teachers preloaded in here. I can select what time of the observation I went in, whether it's middle, beginning, end. I can go through and checkbox what I saw the teacher doing, and the next segment here are a series of checkboxes that what I see the students doing, and then the overall observation, what I saw, just predetermined items that I look for as I visit their class, and in the end a little narrative box to where you can take a look, mention things that occurred in the classroom and maybe some things that you really enjoy. Back from our online form that we use for our teacher walkthroughs, I want to show you another item, and we'll go back to Form and we'll go back to Show Summary of Responses. And this is going to show my actual individual teachers' results. As you see here, I have about 22 or 20, I suppose 22 teachers that I evaluate. You can see here some teachers I've gotten to. If you look at the bar graph here as we go down, some teachers I haven't, some teachers, it just depends on their evaluation, how many times I'm in there. The next nice piece to this is that you can see it looks like I typically observe the middle chunk of time in a period and end a little bit more, and then very rare at the beginning, so maybe I need to do a little bit more of that. So this is just really good data. And then as I stated previously, I had those check boxes, and then now we can kind of add those up. So it looks like overall my teachers are typically demonstrating or modeling a task. They're typically helping individual students, and so it's really nice to see that actual hardcore data that you can pull from these little walkthroughs that take 5 to 10 minutes. Students were doing this, and typically if you're looking here, I've got 22 check boxes here of all my observations. About 85% of the time my students are on task and engaged, and you can kind of see where my school is operating. So working in groups collaboratively, so it looks like there's a bit of group work, and listening, responding to verbal questions. So you can kind of see how that works, and then overall observation, again, more data that you can pull from this. It's just really nice. And then of course the timeline of how many times a day I'm doing these. So it's just a nice way to look at your data that comes from your form that you put together. Log back into Google Docs, and I'm at my Documents screen, and if you're wondering where that is, it's up on the top left of your screen. You're going to click Documents. Everybody should have this, and then I'm going to want to go in and create a new document. I'm actually going to create 2 new documents. So if I click on Create, I'm going to find Spreadsheet, and I'm going to rename this Spreadsheet. Just double click on it and you can rename it. I'm going to call this Walkthrough. Okay, on my sheet below, I'm going to rename this sheet. You just click on it. I'm going to rename it to Tom Johnson. Oh, take that back. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to call it Main Data. Okay, now from Main Data, I'm going to go to this plus. I'm going to add a sheet. I want to rename it to, like I said before, Tom Johnson. And once I'm done there, I'm going to want to create an individual sheet, and I'll tell you why we want to do that. So I want to go back to your documents, create a new sheet, new spreadsheet. I want to rename this to our teacher that we're going to work with currently. And call him again Tom Johnson. He's our person. So now I should have 2 documents up here, Tom Johnson and Walkthrough. And the reason being we want 2 different documents is because we're going to have one document that houses all of our data from every single observation, so you can have it at your fingertips, and it tallies it all, just like we saw before with my document I had where I had the summary of results. So on this main walkthrough document, you're going to probably have, depending on your school size, 20 to 30 different sheets of paper. and I'll show you how to filter that. If you click on the main data tab, it's gonna, all the information is gonna come in here. It'll be time stamped, and from there it'll filter out, depending on which person you are doing the observation with, it'll filter out to those persons. From there, we will say if we're on Tom Johnson here, it will now, due to a formula we'll do, it'll pull data from this spreadsheet to Tom Johnson's spreadsheet, and this would be the spreadsheet you would share to your teacher, because you're not going to want to share the main document because he'll have access to every single teacher's observations, and we don't want that to happen. So from there, we've created 2 documents, and we'll come back with how to link these 2 together. Back in my document again, taking a look at my walkthrough document here, and we've got to do a couple things so that they work together a little bit better. First of all, we've got to be able to filter from our main data to our teacher. And what you need to do is take a look at this highlighted piece here, and you're going to need to have that exact formula. And so what I want to do here is I just want to type in Tom Johnson, and what this is going to do is it's going to pull from my main data. So where you have everybody here, it's going to pull into individual sheets. Okay, and I don't have anything in there, so of course it's not going to have any valid data in there. Our next thing that we're going to need to do is go to the individuals spreadsheet, and I've already put something in here, and this is what now we're going to have it link up to our walkthrough document. And how we're going to do that is we're going to go back to our walkthrough document. We're going to go where it says Tom Johnson, and then we're going to copy this key, and you want to start your highlight right after where it says key, then equal sign, and you're going to take the entire thing, we're going to copy, we're going to go to that document, and we're going to go right in here in between the first section set of quotations, and we're going to copy and paste that in there. We're going to change the name where it says Candy Lemire to Tom Johnson. And now what this will do is it will pull any data that is put in to the main data sheet. Anything that's put into Tom Johnson will now go to the individual teacher's document. Now that we've linked the 2 documents together, we need to now edit the form. And so what I want you to do now is make sure you're back at your walkthrough sheet. You click on your main data, you're on that sheet of paper, and we want to go up to Tools, we want to go to Form, and we want to create a form. You'll see something that pops up similar to this. Your first question I would put is, let's start putting our teacher names in, and what I want to do is put that in the question title. Then I want to go to choose from list. We're going to put Tom Johnson and Fred Smith. We haven't created Fred Smith yet, but we're just going to put it there. Click done. Your sample question, if you go to the pencil, we might say the teacher was, and we would use check boxes, sitting at their desk, circulating around the classroom. Could be some options. I'm not going to go into great detail. I think that you could find a way to do that yourself. If you go to add item, you can do, well, first of all, let's take a look here. You can have just simple text, paragraph text, multiple choice, checkboxes, choose from a list, scale, grid. You know, really the sky's the limit with this. I'm going to choose paragraph text. I'm going to put observation notes, and this will allow me to have a paragraph typed question answer for them. I'm going to delete this random thing. Okay, once I'm done, I'm going to close that, and I'm going to come back to my form here, and now I've created a form. You can see here I have all of these now on my spreadsheet. Shouldn't have anything on Tom Johnson yet because we don't have anything on Tom Johnson. Next thing I'm going to do is go up to form. I want to go to live form, and again, this is very basic. We want to make sure we have Tom Johnson selected. I want to put I stopped in and he was moving around the room. You were checking for understanding and whatever you want to put. I'm just going to throw something there. When I click submit, if we did this right, it should now pop into our main data sheet here on Tom Johnson, and if we're lucky, it will work in here. So I'm going to paste that again. Okay, so what I want you to do, you're going to need to click on A1, and you'll need to basically put this entire formula in A1 in order to pull this data from the main data sheet. And I'm going to put this link up on my website just to make sure you guys know where to go or know how to do this, because this is very important. The only way, if you don't put this in, it's not going to ever pull data from your main sheet and filter it to those individual